simply close with a quote from Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, and he was one of these great ones who attained an opening, though he was not himself a scholar of the outward knowledges, and he was in Fez, Morocco, where he's buried. Now, it was known that he was this great sage who had attained this opening, and so people would come to him to seek knowledge. And some of the scholars of the outward would become jealous of him because they say, we're the ones who study, you never study, right? You're not in these learning circles and reading the books with us, but people go to you more than us. So some of them were jealous. So they came to him to test him, and they would quote a hadith, and they would see if he would know the hadith, and to test him, they would remove one word and change it. They say, did the Prophet say this? And he would always say, not that word. He would always know the word they changed. So they said, why? How do you know this? And he said, when you say a word from the Prophet ﷺ, I see a light coming out of your mouth. But when you say something from yourself, it's just darkness. Right? So this, of course, made them even more upset. And they said, the scholars are the inheritors of the prophets. What have you inherited from him? And he said, I've only inherited his unletteredness. That he was ummi and I'm ummi. Right? This is a powerful point. And this is actually getting at what we're talking about here. Is that the Prophet ﷺ, Muhammad, is called an-Nabi al-Ummi, the unlettered prophet. Now, sometimes ummi is mistranslated as illiterate, meaning he couldn't read or write. But that's not what it meant. What it means, ummi means he didn't need to read or write. Because being illiterate is usually seen as a deficiency. But being ummi, with its resonances of the mother, means you're taught directly. Right? Just like an infant receives milk directly from its mother, it doesn't need to go seek food, but it is fed directly. Right? And the milk flows for the child. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ and these true inheritors amongst the Sufis, they attain an inner knowing that is taught directly to them by the divine. Now, of course, the prophets have a different role than the saints, but this inner knowing, this experiential knowledge is not just for the prophets, but it's for their true inheritors. And this is really what the Sufi path is all about.